morning, everyone, and hello. My name is Frank Anthony, and welcome to another Walk Talk. So, it is just beautiful out here. I don't know what the weather is like for you, but this is my favorite type of weather, hence the hoodie. I'm a fall person. It's not technically fall yet, but I love the 50s to 70 degree weather. The trees are just, being trees. I don't know where I was going with that. Before I get into today's topic, I just want to mention something new that I'm working on. What's new? I'm always working on a lot of things, which is going to kind of go into today's topic as well. But I am working on a new monthly newsletter. So if you would like to receive that once a month, which the first one's going to release October 12th, you go to www.frankanthonybooks.com, and all the way at the bottom, it's going to say want a monthly newsletter. You put in your name and your email, and then you'll start getting that. Like I said, October 12th will be the first one. Don't worry, it's not going to be anything spammy like, hello wind. It's not going to be anything spam like or anything. I don't have time to spam you. So the minimum will be that once a month newsletter. So I just wanted to share that guys with you. So let's get into today's topic. So a couple people have mentioned something related to this topic. I've seen it online. It's definitely, especially with everything going on in this world too, it's definitely a common problem, and that is having a bunch of problems at once that we're trying to solve, and it may feel overwhelming, and it's just, it's a lot. This whole pandemic's not making it much easier either. And on a typical day, having a lot of problems that you need to solve is already a feat of its own. So with this whole bonus situation and people not knowing, what the future holds and everything and all that, it can definitely get stressful. It can get overwhelming. So I just wanted to give a little bit of advice, because I'm someone that tends to work on many projects at once, and I have overwhelmed myself in the past, and now I'm in a state of mind where I don't do that nearly as much as I used to. So I'm going to give some tips that I've learned with those things. So if you have a bunch of problems, we tend to multitask a lot. That's just human nature. We want to try to get everything done at once. You have to try to focus on one problem at a time, starting with what you would consider most priority. And there might be a couple things, kind of just look at those together and then decide which one you really need to get done first. And really try to look in micro view, no macro, just look at that problem, solve it, and then try to move on to the next one. And a good way of doing that too, and it's something that I do in my routine, is we all have big goals, or at least a big goal in life. For example, one of mine is to become a published author. That just doesn't happen overnight necessarily. Like, you need to write a book, and writing a book takes time. So you have to set smaller goals to then be able to accomplish your bigger goals. So I would say set small goals when it comes to your problems, kind of try to break them down. Like I said, start with the first one on your list. Try to break it down a little bit more to where you can solve those pieces one at a time. And then as you solve those pieces, that problem as a whole, you should be able to accomplish and defeat it. And then you can move on to the next problem. Another piece of advice I can share is it's okay to ask for support. Us as humans, we like to try to do everything on our own. I'm very guilty of that. I'm getting better at asking for help, but I've also been guilty of just trying to do as much as I can on my own. We try to put a lot on our backs, and we sometimes forget to ask there might be someone in our life or someone that can relate to what we're going through that could actually help us, or at least offer us some sort of resources. So do not be afraid to ask for that support. You never know what type of help you could get. It could be way more than you ever anticipated. I've been walking for a couple miles. I'm getting out of breath. I haven't been doing as many walk talks lately. yeah, so don't be afraid to ask for that support. And whether it's online or it's a friend, a family, someone in your personal life, whoever, professional help, like don't be afraid to ask someone for help that could help with a certain project. For example, one of my friends, she helps me, kind of acts like my editor. So she helps me edit my, I'll send her a chapter a week, which I'm going to get to another point that's related to this whole problems thing. But she looks over my chapters. She does a little bit of editing, shows me things that maybe I didn't see first glance, which there's always at least something, it's good to always have a second pair of eyes on your problems as well. And yeah, that helps me a lot. So, and that's something that I kind of had to work up the courage to, because, you don't want to bother people. Like there's that thought too, but you never know until you ask. It doesn't hurt. The worst thing that can happen is that they say no and then you keep going. Speaking of the whole like sending chapters once a week, set deadlines for your problems, things that you want to complete. When it comes to my chapters, I try to send at least one chapter once a week. I will admit I have kind of fallen off of that. I've been working on so many different things that my book was there was something for a friend that I was helping them that was really big, so I kind of pushed my book to the side, which I never should have done, especially how that turned out. So that's another piece of advice. Don't just push your problems aside and then never get back to them, but do set deadlines for those things you want to get done. Like I said, my chapters, I try to do at least one a week so that there's that deadline of, okay, Friday's coming, I need to get this done by that time. It adds a little urgency. If you're someone that goes to a 9-to-5 job, you know that with some of your tasks, there's deadlines. If you don't get them done, there's consequences. And we need to treat our own personal problems the same way. I'm trying to think of another example problem. Maybe it's something about cleaning the house and making sure that's all good. Do it by the end of the day or in a couple days or a week. Like set that date, set that deadline, and it's going to give you that little push of urgency. And then it helps you complete it. And then when you do it, you're going to feel so much better. And another piece of advice is, because we're all going through different things, obviously, mentally and physically and all that. If you're going through, if you have all these problems and your problem is very severe, it's something that's very overwhelming, that it's something you may need to take care of before tackling the rest of the problems in your life, then I think that's okay I always say our mental health and just our self-care our health should come number one. And that's when I would say focus on that first, instead of worrying too much about all your problems. Because if you don't have your psyche in check, if your mental health is declining very rapidly, that's something I believe you definitely need to address before trying to take on the world and take on all these problems that are in your life. If you don't have your health, you're not going to be able to help others and help solve these problems and diminish them and complete goals and all that. So I'm trying to think if there's anything else. I think that was mostly it. I guess the other piece of advice I could offer too, I'm really bad at this, is overthinking the problems. That's something that I'm a big overanalyzer. I'm a Cancer for astrology, if that helps clarify the whole issue and stuff. But with me, I overanalyze a lot of things, which means I end up overthinking certain problems a little bit too much, where normally I could have just solved it within like a day at most. But instead I overthink it so much and I over prepare it and I over focus on, okay, I'm going to do it, but then I'm not actually taking the action towards completing it. That's something we do. Some of us do. It's something I've been guilty of doing, and it's something you should try to stop doing and stop overthinking it and just do it. Just focus if you have to think a little bit about it, that's fine, but don't overthink it to the point of then that whole day you're overthinking it and then you didn't accomplish anything from that. So those are just some pieces of advice that I have on this very cool day outside. I hope just one more little thing too, because I don't know where everyone's living situation is at the moment, and I know there's been some crazy wildfires and all that. I feel like I just want to address that quick and say, if you're in those areas, I hope somehow you're staying safe and that you are okay and that your loved ones are okay. I hope that everything's okay. I wish I could do more. It's kind of the most I could do at the moment is just offer that emotional support. If there is anything additional that I could try to do to help people, let me know in the comments. All right, so I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Make sure to, if you want to be part of that monthly newsletter that I'm going to be working on, www.frankanthonybooks.com. Thank you guys. Bye.